everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand build-up show. It is Manchester United against Newcastle United, taking on Newcastle at St James's Park. Ruben Amorim has done some rotation, so has the United Stand. We are joined with Tul and also Hayden. Just like how Ruben Amorim's using some of the youth today, Harry Armas in line to start, according to Nathan Salt from the Daily Mail. We've also brought the youth in because Hayden is my brother, so everyone be nice. You know, he's filling in today. He always has a go at me for my United opinions. So I thought we might as well get him on the channel to do it publicly to everyone. So get in the comments down below your thoughts. And we'll get our thoughts in. But Tul, we'll start with you. Interesting fan forum against Leon. I saw a lot of comments asking for my opinions on Onana. I'm glad I was in Leon, to be honest.
You were getting a bit as well, yeah.
Yeah, how are you feeling that Bayern Day is starting today and Onana's completely dropped from the squad?
To be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that Bayern Day would be in line for Thursday and not today, because let's be honest, the big one is Thursday. Today don't really matter. Yeah, I feel like it's probably a bigger headline than it really is. The league don't mean anything. You could have played Tommy Eaton today. You could have played anyone today. The league don't mean anything. I think we're going to see quite a few young players today. However, Thursday's the big headline. Maybe, just maybe, it's a subtle little way for Amorim to play Bayern Day today. Hopefully he puts a good performance in, and then off the back of that you can go, do you know what, I'll put him in on Thursday, because then you've got a kind of, do you know what I mean? You've got a reason to use then. You've got an excuse and say, well, he performed on Sunday, so I don't want to change him when he's performed and he's in form. So fingers crossed, because I'm sick to death of Onana now. I've had enough.
Hayden, welcome to the show.
Yeah, nice to be here, thank you. Looking forward to the game. Hopefully we get to see a lot of rotation, as you said, with Amas starting. But just on the Bayern Day thing, I actually think it's a good thing he's starting him today, because it's like almost his tryout for the Thursday game. Like, I'm just hoping he plays well. I remember against Arsenal he had a very good half, didn't he? So hopefully he can play like that, and I think if he does, he should hopefully start the game. But we'll see. I mean, dropping Onana from the squad's a massive deal. I
think it is, because so many headlines around Andre Onana, so much criticism, and I can understand it, but like serious amounts of criticism. To then completely drop him from the squad, and it has been labelled by David Ornstein, it's to take him out of the limelight because of everything that happened with Matic, and then he did basically cost us a lead, and it's in there's a lot of eyes watching Manchester United now on Thursday. It's do or die. It really is like a cup final, and we could have been going into it, and we should have been going into it with a bit of comfortability. Do you think this is not Andre Onana's, do you think this is Altay Bayern Day's audition to start that game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just for Amorim to drop Onana completely, that shows a lot of, confidence and balls from him, because, I mean, Ten Hag, I don't think he would have done that. I mean, it's not the first time Onana's cost us. In the Champions League against Bayern, we were at the group stage, we went out because of him. And, Ten Hag just constantly played him. So I think it's good that he's been dropped, and hopefully, as I said, Bayern Day can do well. I'm really hoping so, but I think he'll get tested, definitely. I mean, Newcastle, amazing form. They're going for top 5, top 4 Europe. We're us, what does this game mean? Not much. I think it's £3 million per place in the table. We're going to rotate. He'll definitely get tested, and we'll definitely get to see what he's made of today.
I mean, one thing I will say, Tul, and I don't want to bring everyone back down to earth, is what happens if Bayern Day drops a stinker?
Do you know what? I'm glad you've said it, yeah, because I'm not his biggest fan. I've got to be honest, I'm not Bayern Day's biggest fan, because I know we had the good second half against Arsenal, but I thought he had a bad first half, to be honest. I remember in the first half thinking, he looks nervous.
I tweeted in the first half of that game, by the way, I am like the ultimate jinx. I tweeted in the first half of that game, this is why Onana should be starting.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because I remember in the first half thinking, I'm not into Bayern Day at all. He kept smacking the ball out of play, and I just thought, no, he's thinking about this.
That second half, though, I remember he was amazing.
Yeah. I ended up quote tweeting myself saying, I take it all back, Bayern Day, sorry, I love you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with Bayern Day, in that situation, you can give him the benefit of the doubt. He's been second keeper for so long. He got no minutes, like you said, under Ten Hag. He's probably nervous coming into that game, because he knew, he gets no minutes, I have to take some sort of opportunity. I think the only other game he'd started apart from that was a cup game, but I can't even remember who it was against.
Might have been Barnsley.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
And he barely even got a touch of the ball.
Yeah.
So against Spurs, you are going to have things to do. But that was the game he started before.
No, Spurs forgot about that.
And he had a bit of a poor one. He thought, this is probably one of my last chances here.
Yeah.
To actually do a bit. And I could kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, United, everyone's watching you, big pressure. It's like when Onana made his first few mistakes. Yeah. Benefit of the doubt. Being a keeper at United, you're going to have a lot of eyes on you. You want to be consistent the majority of the time, but you are going to make a couple of mistakes. He was just bedding in. But then I think once he got comfortable and he had that first good save under his belt, and I think that penalty really did change things for him when he saved that Odegaard penalty. He built that confidence up where it's never really felt like Onana's had that confidence. He had a few months, but that was about it. You've always felt like there is mistakes in him. I mean, there is some news out around Andre Onana, and we'll talk about more about Harry Armas starting and the potential starting lineup for United today. Who should it be? Should it be just full youth? Should it be a mix? Should we be getting people ready to start against Lyon? Should we take it seriously with the amount of money you can make? I think it's about 3 million if you move an extra place in the table. How should we go about it? We will be talking about that, and we'll get Tul and Hayden's opinions and get yours in. But a little bit more on Onana before we move on is, this is from David Ornstein as well. Andre Onana switched agents in recent months. That was meant for a new contract or improved terms at Manchester United. His agent may now have to look at trying to move on his player.
Is his agent somebody who got a few players over to Saudi, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure.
I think it was.
Yeah, I remember that being the headline when I read it a few months ago.
That's why he's been linked to Saudi Arabia within the last few days.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you can move Andre Onana on, because who actually would go for him?
Do you know what I actually found interesting? Yeah, I was having a debate about Onana with someone yesterday, right? And we were on about the transfer fee, so I was looking at transfer market, pulled the transfer fee up, and I was having a look at just his previous seasons, and I forgot he had the ban. So he was out for a few years with the ban, right? And then he went straight to Inter off the back of the ban. Sorry, not the van. He only played one season in like 5 years before we signed him. That's actually quite nuts, you know, to be fair. He literally only had I thought he'd been at Inter for like 2-3 years. He had 1 year at Inter. I thought he'd been there for a while.
He must be a good keeper though, because he's played for like Ajax, semi-final? Should have been the final. Got to the final with Inter Milan. That's why we signed him. I remember people looking at him saying, "Oh, he's a keeper." And when we got him, people were happy at the time. Obviously, it's not worked out. So he has got it in him, but something at United just hasn't worked. And we know it's so hard to be a goalkeeper for United. That's why De Gea was so good.
It's the pressure, man. You've got to be a real tough character to do it. I think you've got to. Like De Gea wasn't necessarily. De Gea was a bit of a different type of character. De Gea was kind of more of like a cool. Yeah. You know, composed character. However, you know, we also used to criticise De Gea for that, because we used to say he's not commanding enough, he's not commanding his back line. And we thought Onana might come in and be a bit more, let's say, aggressive. However, the back line don't want anything to do with him, mate. There was times on Thursday where the ball's coming in.
Harry Maguire don't trust him.
Exactly. Onana's coming out screaming for the ball, and Maguire's thought, sod that. I'm just lofting it. I'm lofting it up the pitch, because for all he knows, he might let the ball go through his legs. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They don't trust him.
You wouldn't trust him. I mean, you've gone away in the quarter-final of Europe, managed to get 2 good goals, and then he's cost you 2 goals. You wouldn't trust him. You'd be fuming. Imagine you're playing a game and he's done that. You'd be fuming. And you could tell at the end of the game, they looked mad. Bruno, I think, looked mad. Maguire, obviously, was just booting out rather than passing to him. I don't think they trust him, and that might be part of why he's been dropped from the squad, just because it's got to a point now where it's negative just having him around. He's just cost you Europe. He's not cost us, but set us back. Hopefully we win on Thursday. You know, just get him out of there.
That's genuinely. Why Bayern has to play on Thursday. And I hope he has a good game today. I really do. And he will get tested. We're playing against Newcastle. We're fighting for Champions League football at St James's Park. Plus, I just want to say this. We obviously all wish Eddie Howe the quickest recovery. He won't be there today. They're going to be playing for him as well. You know, the manager who has won him a cup, and everybody, you know, everyone, all the Geordies love him. You know, the team seem to love him. He's doing a really good job over there at Newcastle. They're going to be playing for him, who unfortunately can't be there because sadly he's in hospital. United are going to be right up against it, and his goal will be being peppered, and we will see what Altay Bayindir is made of. I think this is a test for him, but if he even does reasonably well, I think he has to start against Lyon, because Newcastle are a harder team to play against than Lyon, let's be honest. I mean, Lyon are good, but Newcastle, I think, are better. And I think if he can do it against Newcastle, he should be doing it against Lyon, because one more mistake from Onana in a game like that, the abuse would be off the scale. And nobody should face that as well.
Yeah, and I think with it being at Old Trafford on Thursday as well. I mean, I've been in in Old Trafford at times where Onana's just taking ages on the ball and the crowd really do get on his back. So
massively on his back.
They get massively on his back. So I think maybe it's unnecessary pressure on Thursday that we could do without, and maybe we just need him out of the team. Yeah,
the cup's full from a lot of United fans. Stephen said he should have stayed in that Vantel. Nemanja Savic says we need Bayern Day to perform today and start on Thursday. If I'm Leon, I'm sending Matic to the pre-game conference to get in Onana's head again. Oh, there'll be another press conference, won't there?
Yeah.
Raja Badan says, can Hayden share the goalkeeper Beth wants now? #justice for David De Gea.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows. I mean, Beth, what's your... Because you went on the forum, were you? Because you were in Leon.
Thanks for that, hey.
Yeah, so what do you think of the current situation?
Oh, the amount of messages I've had of people. It's like people think that I...
Yeah, you were
the scout.
I were employed by United...
You did want Onana though, right?
Stop poking the bear. You know what I wanted, because I spoke to you about it.
You didn't want De Gea, that's for a fact.
No, I didn't. Right, and I'll explain it now. And if you want to clip this up, you can clip it up, because so many people have been asking what I think of the Onana situation. So I'll say it here, and I'll say it now. Looking back, obviously it's not worked out. But I don't regret thinking we should have moved on De Gea. I think we should have done it in a more respectful way, for sure. And I think now, with Onana's stint, you can see how good De Gea actually was at Manchester United, because obviously there's so much pressure that surrounds being Manchester United goalkeeper, and to be so successful at doing so for the amount of years that he does go down as a Manchester United legend. And I do think he was the best goalkeeper in the world at a lot of points in his Manchester United career. However, I stand by the fact at the time it was right to move him on, but we just replaced him with the wrong guy. If everyone remembers correctly, I did say we should have got rid of De Gea. I do put my hands up and say that. But Onana wasn't even in my top 3 of players to get in. Don't get me wrong, when we did go for him, I backed it and I thought he was going to do well. Watched him for Inter Milan, and I think a lot of people did, and thought, we've got a ball-playing goalkeeper who's going to be able to upgrade on what David De Gea's weakness was, which was playing out from the back. But little did we know we were going to get a keeper in who also can't play out from the back, suddenly lost his ability to do that, but can't do the basics of what a goalkeeper needs to do, which is keep the ball at the back of the net. Onana was the wrong appointment, and that goes back to Ten Hag. It does go back to Ten Hag, because he had some shockers. We were going for a different goalkeeper. Ten Hag vouched for Onana, that's why we went for him. There's other players like Anthony, Ten Hag vouched for him, which is why I went for him. So a lot of it does lie on Erik Ten Hag, but the recruitment team should have put the foot down, and we should have done more scouting in regards to the goalkeeper that we brought in. That's not my job to do. But it's like going back to that old saying, was Pep wrong to get rid of Joe Hart and bring in Bravo? Bravo was not the right replacement for Joe Hart, but they realised they made a mistake and they went for Ederson. They didn't go backwards. De Gea's doing really well at Fiorentina now, and I really do wish him the best. In hindsight, would I have rather kept him than have Onana? Yes, because he's a better goalkeeper than Onana. But I just think we got the wrong goalkeeper in.
Yeah. It's funny how it works, isn't it? Because at the time, we were all, like, a lot of fans didn't want De Gea because they were clipping up. I remember there was just clips going around, constant montages of his distribution, and people saying we need to progress as a team. But now that we've got Onana, people are saying, I don't care about that, just get me someone who can save the ball. So it's funny how people's opinion shifts. Like, we took for granted, I think, De Gea a little bit too much. Yes, he made the odd mistake. Yes, I think penalties was a bit of an issue with him, but again, Onana, what's he done for us on penalties? Nothing. So, yeah, I do think De Gea probably was the right move to keep him, but yeah, there was reasons why we didn't want him as well, like Europa League final. Do you remember those penalties? Didn't save, what, 11?
Yeah.
Did Onana save a penalty against Coventry, though, to go through to the FA
he also
Cup?
Saved
and we got the FA Cup win.
He also saved on the Champions League.
Yeah, but that didn't lead to anything, so I don't really care about that.
Yeah, so yes.
But it's still not worth all the mistakes
It's
he's
not worth the
made.
mistakes, no. Yeah. At the end of the day, in your keeper, you want someone who you can rely on, who's experienced, who's a good shot stopper, and that's exactly what De Gea was. So it's a shame, really, but at the time there was reasons why I wanted to move him on, but yeah.
Do you think he will go in the summer?
Oh, no. Yeah.
You think he'll leave?
Yeah.
Well, he needs to go, it's just who's going to take him.
Mate, there's no way Amorim wants him. Like, I'm sorry, but Amorim will... If he ain't leaving, he'll be on the bench.
I think we'll bring in a new
He's not
keeper
gonna
for
be
sure.
starting. Yeah.
We'll bring in a new keeper for sure, but whether we can actually get Onana at the door, I don't think Amorim would say no to it if you got an offer, but it's going to be hard. I mean, if you're a club watching that, you don't want Onana right now, do you?
Does anyone have a preference on what sort of goalkeeper we should go for?
a good one. It's a decent
The thing is
one.
with keepers, you can get them for like a reasonable price, and I wouldn't mind going for an older keeper because we want that experience. We don't want to gamble again. Like we can't take any more gambles. Like Inter, when they sold Onana to Hojlund, they had him for like a year. Got off of that ban, got him on a free, sold him to us for 50 million. Then they went and signed Jan Sommer for 5 million, doing brilliant for them. Someone like that, there's going to be someone out there. Keepers, they can play up until late 30s. We signed, how old was Van der Sar when we signed him?
Van der Sar was well into his 30s by the time we signed him. Yeah.
We need someone comfortable.
Yeah, we just need someone with a bit of bollocks about him, and usually the older guys are, you're less likely to be that solid character at 20. How old was Onana when we signed him? 25 or something like 24, 25. You've just, even though he was a Champions League finalist. No, he also hasn't played for 4 years.
I think he was like 27
actually.
How old's Onana now? Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was a touch younger than that.
He's 29 now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought he was a touch younger.
Wow. And the position we're in, we can't be affording to spend another 50 mil on a keeper again. We can't.
Loaning from Real Madrid. And I know no one wants to hear my shouts anymore.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'm
yeah.
going to keep
Whoever
quiet.
says, go with the other one.
Originally, I'm not even going to go
You
back.
did want David Raya, to be fair, and
I did.
he's done well.
Yeah,
so.
but anyway, it is what it is. Have a go at United scouting department. Don't have a go at me. Is what I would say on that. I mean, people still have a go at me about Mason Mount to this day. You can already see when he's fit. He's probably our best number 10 when he's fit. So I mean, that's very, very little portions of game time we've seen because of injuries. But we'll get into the starting lineup. Ipswich 2-0 up, by the way.
Wow.
Fair play.
Chelsea's
proper fallen off, haven't they?
Wow. And Delap's on the bench as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, we'll definitely talk about that. We've got to still talk about Hojlund. We've got to talk about the starting 11 for today. But the breaking news is Altay Bayındır starts. We've touched on that with the goalkeeper situation. Next thing I want to talk about is Harry Armas. Nathan Salt, good journalist. I know him very well. He would not break this if he didn't have good information. Starts for Manchester United against Newcastle. Do we think it's going to indicate that Amorim might throw some youth into the starting 11 today? Do you think it'll be a mix? How do you think he's going to go about the lineup, Tul?
I don't think it'll be a complete lineup of young players, but I think you might see another one on top. To be honest, even though we could throw young lads in, it's also equally as good as an opportunity to get the lads who've just come back from injury some good minutes. So Mount could get some really good minutes in today. Mainu could get some really good minutes in. I thought Luke Shaw would get a start today just because he needs to.
He's not even played any minutes though, yeah, has he?
But my point is the league don't mean anything.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get him some minutes, today's probably the time to get the minutes in. At least then if you wanted to use him going forward in the Europa League, at least he's got some kind of minutes in the tank. I'd imagine you get a few starts from the guys who've just come back from injury just for that reason, just to kind of get everyone up to speed as much as we can. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what Amorim does, obviously, when the lineup comes out. But I mean, if I was Amorim, I'd be everyone who you want to play on Thursday, I'd be resting. I mean, we've already talked about how little this game means in terms of the league. Like, we're not getting Europe, we're not getting relegated. I would even be playing like Chido, Kunoki. I don't care. Kukonki. I would be playing all them, like Yoro, Maguire. Like we know De Ligt's injured. There's no point risking these people. I think Bruno will play because he plays every game. But other than that, I would just you'd rather rotate and get beat than go strong and get beat. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's an interesting point because I think a few people in the chat and get your comments in is we could play our strongest lineup today and we wouldn't be favourites. We'd probably get beat still.
Yeah.
So, but the last thing you want to do is throw the youngsters in and then them get a drum in because lose a bit of confidence then. I think you've got to mix a little bit of experience with the youth players. I think Kukonki's a really good shout. We know we're short on defenders with Amorim's back three, and we want to keep defenders fresh for that game against Lyon. So he's an interesting shout. Aidan Heaven's coming back from injury. He could be in line to maybe have some minutes today. I think what you said, Tul, about getting them senior players some minutes could work. So you could have the likes of Harry Armas and a Chido, but you could also have a Mount and a Mainu, which ups the levels, but also the experience levels as well, and it kind of gives you that nice little mix.
I'd like to see Mount and Mainu in the 10s today, because I know a lot of people, myself included, want to see them get that chance because, unlike people like Garnacho, they're technical, they're good with the ball, and we saw the difference they made when they came on against Lyon. So I'd love to see them actually start as the 10s today, see if that works.
I mean, what do you think about that, Tul? I mean, there's a lot of talk about how Zirkzee has to start against Lyon. Do you think that means Hojlund plays today? Would you play Zirkzee? Would you go with Chido? How are you looking at it?
I probably wouldn't start Cheeto just yet. It's still a match. Cheeto, if Cheeto ain't even started, like, you know, when we were playing cup games, I don't think this is the game to go and start Cheeto. I feel like you can get away a bit more with starting a lad in a back five rather than starting a young lad as a lone striker. I think it's a bigger task, to be honest. So I think today, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I just want to see Zirkzee on Thursday. But like you said, Beth, I don't see no reason why Zirkzee couldn't start maybe 60 minutes in the game, bring Hojlund on, keep Zirkzee on ice for Thursday. But yeah, if Hojlund started, I wouldn't really be opposed to it because it probably means Zirkzee's going to start on Thursday. But I think it'll be one of those two. I can't see Cheeto starting today.
Just on Cheeto though, you physically can't get much worse than Hojlund at the moment.
I agree with that.
I saw a start.
I do agree.
Edison, for this Man City goalkeeper, has had more goal involvements in the Premier League this season than Hojlund. That's crazy.
Marmouche is blowing him out the water already.
And people complain about service. Edison's not exactly getting much service as a goalkeeper, and he's had more. So it's like you can't actually get much worse than Hojlund. So I would throw Cheeto in. The only issue is like if he does bad, does it affect his confidence? But if you ask Cheeto, he'd love to start.
It's a big task though, isn't it? Away from home, Saint-Germain Park, striker on your own. That's a big task, that, for a
in his cameos,
lad.
He's come on quite a few times. He's looked bright. I think a lot of fans have enjoyed it and they want to see him. I mean, I don't know what the chat thinks, but I
don't think anyone would be opposed to it, would they, to be fair?
It's difficult for me because Zirkzee, how many minutes did he get against Lyon? Like 30 odd?
30 minutes.
Gets a goal. When you're a striker and you get a goal, you kind of just want to play again.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm about with Zirkzee. Like he's physically fit. You know, he's a professional football player. I don't see why he can't play like 60 minutes a day and then gets taken off, rested, even half the game. 45 minutes, gets taken off, rested, then fresh to start against Lyon. I think we can all agree we want Zirkzee to start off against Lyon.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Everyone can agree with that. Cheeto, though, also, if Amorim started him, I'd be so for it, and I think it's such a great opportunity with him. And you've got to think as well, Armas and Cheeto have a relationship playing together. Armas is starting, we know that. These things can make a difference. Them two playing together, it might give them, you know, that little bit of comfortability when you're in the game and having someone on the pitch that you know and you've got that chemistry with. The last person I want to see start up front is probably Hojlund, and it sounds bad, but it's just because I know what Hojlund's offering, I know what he can do, and it's not much. It's really not much. Cheeto's the unknown, and like you said, you can't get really much worse than what Hojlund's been offering. I think just similarly how Onana's been taken out the limelight, similar for Hojlund, that he needs to be taken out the limelight, because one, he's getting a lot of stick and he's only a young player. Two, I think he's a bit out of his depth. I feel a little bit sorry for him because I do think he's massively out of his depth. I think sometimes as a player you just need to be taken out of it by the manager, have a bit of time, because I think we all know there is attributes there for Hojlund that he can use, and he definitely should be playing better than what he is. He was miles better in his first year at United than what he is now. I don't know what he's going to be in the future, but I definitely think there's a better player than what's there now. And I think just how Onana's been taken out of the limelight, similar thing should maybe happen with Hojlund.
There's capability with Hojlund. He got hired for the wrong job. No, it's like making The Apprentice the manager. Do you know what I mean? He should not have been coming in to be the number one striker and give him the number 9 off the back of his first season. That's not what Hojlund should have been. Hojlund should have been striker number 3. There should be 2 guys in front of Hojlund, and Hojlund can bed in, come off the bench, maybe start a cup game here and there, maybe start when someone's injured. That's what Hojlund should have been. Whether you can then make the argument, why would you pay 70 million quid for that? Well, then that's on the recruitment team. Then that's when you look at them and go, well, they're the ones spending the money. They should dish it out more wisely. But you do feel bad for him slightly, like you said, because he is out of his depth, completely out of his depth, and he's drowning up there. It's been going on for ages. I remember it was back in April, back end of last season, and we played, I think it was Sheffield at home, and I remember watching him really closely against Sheffield's back 5. I was just like, wow, they're swallowing him up so easily. And I was like, I just don't think he's got that. I think physically he can do it. I just don't think he's got the intelligence. I just don't think he's smart enough of a player. I think he can develop it because he's still, 21 years old. However, we've not put him in a position to develop. We put him in where it's like, you've got to do it now. Yeah. And I think it is unfair. It's cruel because it's football, but it is unfair on him. And I think he's been set up to fail at United.
Hojlund is such a puzzle though, because, he's tall, he's fairly quick. He's got good strength. Like he's got
fairly quick. He's probably the quickest player.
Exactly. He's got a good build to him. Like he's got all the attributes it takes to be a top striker. And even you look at the stats. I know people point this out. When he does shoot, he's got quite a decent conversion rate, doesn't he? One of the highest. But it's something about him, it's just not working.
See, it's the brain, mate.
Yeah.
Maud's has got attributes about him. Maud's is tall, Maud's is probably fast, but you put Maud's up front, he probably wouldn't have many shots.
It's like he doesn't know how to utilise it.
You've got to have the brain for it, and I think the goal against Lyon, that Zirkzee score, is a great example, because that little run, he didn't even run, he jogged to the back post because he just knew where he had to be, and he wasn't even like he was in a hurry to get there. He just knew, I've got to stay on side here. I don't think Hojlund even makes that run, and it's like the simplest run ever. And if I'm envisioning that exact scenario, but it's Hojlund instead of Zirkzee, I'm imagining Hojlund running round like pinball, bouncing off defenders, probably end up on the floor for some reason, and it'd just be anywhere except the back post. And that just comes down to intelligence, which that's just about being a good football player. And he's got so much developing to do, but he can't develop where he is at United right now. You can't develop whilst he's the number one striker. He's just got to turn up every week and do what he can do, which we've all said for a long time isn't enough.
But surely, like, the coaches are telling him, you need to be in these positions, you need to do these things, you need to, like, so many times.
The thing is with coaching, I get it, but Amorim and his coaches, I don't want to be disrespectful. It's like, you've got to have some sort of quality to be able to develop. Like, look at Zirkzee. He's an example of a player that is improved under the coaching at Manchester United. He's doing reportedly an extra 2 hours training near enough every day. That's what the reports are. When we spoke to him over in Lyon, he said he trained that exact header all week with Mason Mount, I think one of the set piece coaches, or one of the coaches behind the scenes, I forget the name, and Christian Eriksen. Like, he's working on this. And he's doing it behind the scenes, but Zirkzee, we know he's quite an intelligent footballer. That's one of his strengths. Intelligence is really key, like footballing IQ, and some players just don't have that. I don't know.
I mean, so many times you see someone like Garnacho at the byline, and then Hojlund's just stood behind someone in the box, and he's just screaming, like, make that front post run, do something. And then if he does do that, they don't even look for him. Like, especially Garnacho, they don't look for him. I don't know if it's because they're fed up. I don't know what it is, but it's like a combination. It's lack of service, yes, but also he needs to do a lot better. And we see it when Zirkzee comes on, the difference, as you just said. He's got an actual brain, like a football brain. He knows how to get involved in the game. Well,
this is the thing as well. You notice his involvement straight away. He's getting involved with the build-up play. He's getting involved with the passing, and it is quite minimal when you look at it. But because we're used to so little, it is a noticeable difference. Even when Cheeto came on for them small portions, it was a noticeable difference. And again, he's straight away getting chances. Like, he had a couple of chances against Fulham when he came on in the cup, more than what you see Hojlund get a lot of the time. Very nearly scored. So let's see who starts today. I think it'll be a big indication of who's going to start on Thursday. And I actually, the more we've spoken about it, I kind of hope Cheeto does get that opportunity. It will be no mean feat though against them Newcastle defenders. They're going to play their best team today.
Didn't Mainoo get thrown in when he was coming through, though? I'm sure Mainoo got thrown in a tough place.
Everton away.
Yeah, Everton away, and then it was like a City, or was it?
It was
Newcastle away.
Newcastle away.
Oh, was
I'm sure
it was Newcastle away, and then it was Anfield away.
That's what I'm saying. It was Newcastle away. So, and look what it did for him. So it can work wonders. So I mean, we'll have to see, won't we?
Well, but the thing is as well is, you know how you said like Hojlund's been thrown straight in. He's not really had time to develop. I think that's a really good point, because I've made this point about Dorgu as well. He's been thrown straight in, and like, you've got to start, you've got to be good, like, we need you now. With Yoro, he's been able to evolve and be nurtured into the side, and it's made such a difference.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Yoro first played for United? Like, let's be honest, there was quite a few people thinking, well,
that Southampton game,
like, we've spent 60 million, and I was like, nah, he'll be good, and all United fans were. But I had a few Arsenal, City fans text me saying, like, how much have you spent on Yoro? But very, very quickly, you could see the progression, and he's excelled so much, and he got thrown into such a bad spot. Like, he started playing in pre-season, got injured. I think it went in his second game, out so long with injury. The manager that brought him in was now gone, different manager. And Amorim, I think, has managed his game time so well, to the point now where in a United best 11, I think most people would put Lenny Yoro in that back three, where when he first came in, you were like, he'll be, in like a few years, he'll be in there. But he's automatically got himself up there, and I think his own hard work, when you hear him speak, you can tell how mature he is beyond his years. But that's the luxury of being able to embed a player in with senior players like De Ligt, like Maguire, who've been around the block, know what they're doing. And I think that's helped him massively. And it's the same. I think the same's going to happen with Aidan Heaven, who might well start today.
I mean, I do trust Amorim a lot with youth. I think so far he has done a good job with youth. I mean, look at Aidan Heaven as well, as you just said. He was amazing. I remember we were saying he needs to start every game before he got injured. He was playing that well. Same with Diarra. So whatever he does do with Chido, I do trust him. I'd love him to start this game, but if he's benched and he comes in, then I trust it. I do think Amorim has been good with youth so far.
Well, Harry Amas did look pretty physically able in that pre-season game against Mo Salah. I think that's the most we've seen of him. I think he came on a little for a short amount of time. Can't remember which game it was in, but it was recently. But it was only for like 10, 15 minutes, I think, if that. But Ruben Amorim's decided to start him today. Do we think that means Dallow's rested or Dorgu's rested? Because we've seen Dorgu play on the right side as well.
I hope Dorgu. He's played literally every game since he's come in. He's 20 years of age.
Dallow plays every game.
Yeah, I know. But
Dallow's in that Bruno category now, isn't he? Where I think Dallow just starts every game. If Dallow's available, I think he's going to start Dallow.
I also, yeah, you don't want to be moving Dorgu back to right back again. We all saw how that went. Do you know what I mean? You want confidence and stuff to be high. Hopefully Amas left back.
And Dallow's done actually pretty decently on the right in the last few games.
I thought last 2 games, I think Dallow's been superb. And I was kind of getting on Dallow's back a little bit. I thought he had a drop-off in form. However, against City, I was really happy with him against City. And on Thursday, I thought he carried over. I thought he picked up where he left off against City. I think he's been picking the ball up and just moving it into the midfield really nicely. He keeps playing this one ball where he kind of invites pressure onto himself, and he cuts the ball into midfield and he finds a player every single time, and we usually get a little break from it. So I've been really happy with Dallow recently. I'd like to see him start again.
Well, Lee Cape Town says, "Hi guys, to be honest, I don't think you know what you are on about. In what world do you think it would be beneficial to play Chido right now? We don't develop players well, and that is the truth." I disagree with you, Lee, and you obviously disagree with us, and that's absolutely fine. Like we said, this is pretty much a nothing game. I mean, the only part you can say about it is to avoid our lowest ever points tally, we have to win today, but we'd also have to win all of our last remaining games of the Premier League season, which we're not going to do. So we can kind of kiss goodbye to that. But, you know, Armas is starting today. Amorim clearly trusts him. Chido has played against Fulham. It looks like he had good opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, when you're good enough, you're old enough. And like we're comparing, we want Zirkzee fit and well for Thursday. And Hojlund is also young and massively in the firing line and not delivering. I think Chido would eat up an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
And there's not much pressure either, because no one's really expecting much. There's not many expectations. Big pressure would be starting him. I know he's not part of the Europa League squad because he didn't register him, but big pressure would be starting him in a game against Lyon. Today it's a little bit different. I think a lot of the fans understand we're not going out there saying we're ready to get beat, but we're going out there with a different mindset to what we will be on Thursday.
I do think there'll be a lot of patience for Chido as well, just because of what we've been through with Hojlund and stuff, and it's not exactly like as I said, he can do much worse. I do think there's patience there for him, and people do like him for what we've seen from him so far. And even if he gets 60 minutes, I'd love that for him. And I think he could do well. I mean, what's the issue in it really? I think honestly as well, it's almost better in a way like at St James's Park, because the fans aren't going to get on his back. You know what I mean?
The fans will get on his back anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I think it's good for him. Good for his development. Yeah.
Good experience, I think, as well. We've got Anand saying, we sometimes forget Zirkzee's older than Hojlund and will naturally be more developed. I do agree that at this moment in time, Zirkzee should be starting. He can't be that much older than him.
I think he's 24, Zirkzee.
So Zirkzee's 23 and Hojlund's 22. So there's literally, there's barely anything in that. I mean, Zirkzee is 24 at the end of May, so there's like nearly 2 years in it. It's not much difference.
I suppose Zirkzee had an experience at Bayern, didn't he? I suppose you kind of learn to be being involved in a big club. I suppose that goes a long way.
United for Eternity says, this is a perfect game for Chido. If Amas starts, I think Chido deserves one too. I hope our fans don't bury these kids if they had a few bad games like they did with 18-year-old Garnacho. Don't think anybody buried Garnacho when he came through.
No, Garnacho had a lot of patience at the start, I thought. I mean, look at him now, he's a regular. So if we could get to a point where Chido is a regular or Amas is a regular, that would be great.
Yeah, me personally with Chido, I wouldn't start him today. I'd be eyeing up we've done this. A few managers have done this before. I remember Mason Greenwood came in. I think it was maybe last game of the season in the Premier League. I think what was his name? Was it Josh Harrop? Was it Josh Harrop? I think he played on last game of the season.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think maybe with Cheeto, if I was going to look to start him, I think I'd wait for those last...
Do you remember when Elanga played against Wolves and scored that header?
Yeah, so I think I'd wait till those last maybe 2 games.
Yeah.
He was in that zebra kit, I can still remember.
Yeah. I think I'd wait for those maybe last 2 or 3 games of the league. The league's going to be won, we won't talk about it. Let the league be wrapped up completely. Then I'd probably start Cheeto in those games. I really don't want to get battered today. I really don't want to get battered today because regardless of it mattering or not, you don't want to go and play on Thursday after you've just been battered 4-0 away. Do you know what I mean? It's just not great. If we could get a draw today, I'd be happy. I just really don't want to get demolished. My number 1 today, if I could pick, I'd pick Zirkzee. And I'd let Zirkzee have 60 minutes and I'd bring Hojlund on just to let Zirkzee rest.
You wouldn't have Cheeto any minutes?
Not today, no. I think it's too big today. I know it doesn't really matter, but...
How is he big?
He's not even in the Europa squad.
I just think it is. I just think away from home, being a striker on your own, it's hard. It's not easy.
In 6 months' time, no one, unless it goes really badly, which hopefully it doesn't, no one's going to remember this game. We're not going for Europe. That's what happens.
They will if we get battered, though, and don't score.
I don't think... It's not... We got battered last time. Do you remember at home? Zirkzee got brought off after, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, maybe.
We got battered last time.
Maybe you're right.
You may as well get some minutes in him. And like you were talking about last game of the season, the reason they do that is because there's no pressure on it. There's no pressure on this. We're done. The Premier League's done.
Well, Newcastle have won 4 of their last 5 meetings with Manchester United in all competitions, as many as they had in their previous 41. Wow, that is absolutely insane. But yeah, the last game we played against Newcastle, one of our worst games of the season, Zirkzee ended up getting hauled off at 34 minutes in. Massive. And can we just talk about... I mean, obviously we've talked about Zirkzee a lot, so we will move on in a second, but how far he's come since that game. Everyone thought his United career was done then. There was reports of him wanting to leave, but then the fans massively got behind him. He put the work in and he's done a massive job. And to the point where it's like, if you ask most United fans now, because we're going to bring in a new striker in the summer, who stays out of Hojlund or Zirkzee, I think the majority would say Zirkzee every time. I mean,
Zirkzee has done unbelievable from there. I think if you ask most fans now, he's like one of their favourite players right now. Like, I'm loving him right now. He's improved so much, and I feel like it's fitting almost that in this game this was the same game he got subbed off in, and this is a game where we're like, where you're saying he needs to start and stuff. It just shows how far he's come, doesn't it?
Would you guys start Garnacho?
I think, look, Garnacho frustrates me so bad. However, I expect him to play on Thursday, I'm not going to lie. I think he gets in the team right now off of just being that out ball on the counter-attack and just driving us up the pitch. He has got pace, like he does move the ball up the pitch well. It's just the actual end product. He's passing, let's be honest, is abysmal. The one to Bruno on Thursday is just absolutely unforgivable. People are going to be slating Onana if we don't qualify, but don't forget about that Garnacho pass to Bruno, because that was equally as bad of a mistake. It's a 5-yard pass and he somehow cocked it up. But I just think he starts most games right now just off of being that outlet going forward. I do like me football players. I like me players to be technically good on the ball. I'd love to see Mainu and Mount and Bruno and all these guys, Zirkzee, all these guys playing together, knocking it about. But at some points in the game, especially when you're up against it, you do need someone to just drive you forward and run with the ball. And those guys just aren't as suited to that as Garnacho is. We're dying out for Amad Diallo to come back, because Amad can play football and he also has the pace and he can dribble and he can move the ball forward at the same time. I feel like Garnacho will probably be rested today because I do think he's going to start on Thursday. Who would your front three be today, hey?
I already said, I think Mount and Mainu, they've just come back from injury. You want to get their minutes up, and a lot of us want to see them starting. I'd play them two in the 10 and then Cheeto up front. Do you worry about lack of pace in them two? Yeah, definitely. That's why we use Garnacho, because he's the only one with that pace. But I just think they're so technically good and they could recycle the ball. And as I said, we saw against Lyon what they did. I do think it would work. I think with Bruno as well in there, Ugarte, and obviously Zirkzee in the Europa League game, like if he's good at the ball, I mean, that's how all the good teams play. Look at Arsenal; they dominated Madrid, and how did they do that? They dominated the ball. Madrid couldn't get near him, and that's what we need to start doing. And we can only do that with players like that. You can never play possession football with Garnacho. He gets the ball, he runs, and he either 1 out of 10 times will make something, and it's really good. 9 out of 10 times he'll run into someone or shoot, and he'll get saved. You need these players who can recycle, who are technical. I mean, Ricky says it all the time, doesn't he? Like, you need those sort of players. That's how you need to play football in the modern age.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the thing, ideally you'd want a bit more pace in that front three, but I was speaking to Ricky about this, and Ricky went, Beth, we've had that for so long and it doesn't lead to anything. It can't be any worse than what we've been doing, and it is true. And you saw when you actually had footballers on the pitch, you know, a Mount, Zirkzee, a Mainu against Lyon, who have that football intelligence, we did look better already, I thought. In
an ideal world, you have those sort of players, but they're also quick as well. Do you know what I mean? You have like people who are good on the ball as Mount, are good on the ball as Mainu, and they're quick, like at like the pace of a Garnacho. And that's where players like Saka,
Ahmad.
Like that's the best. That's the player you want. But we're gonna have to look at recruitment. But it's not going to come easy, is it?
I do understand what you are saying there, and that leads me on to my next question. Team news is out in 4 minutes. So many people in the chat saying read the team news out. It's not out yet. Team news out in 4 minutes. I think it'll be a really interesting one today. Question to you both, and to the chat as well, get your comments in. Would you rather have Mainu in the 10 and Bruno is the CM, centre mid, or Mainu is the centre mid and Bruno in the 10?
I think Bruno's best moments this season have been from centre mid, so you'd have to say that. You want your best player to be in their best position, which I think is centre mid for Bruno. But Mainu, we've not seen much of him in the 10, so it's tough, isn't it? But that's why I say I want Mainu to start in that 10 today. I need to see him against a good team, Newcastle, what he does, because I think we've seen it. Like, he's scored a lot of good goals for us against Liverpool, against Wolves. He's capable, and I want to see it.
Yeah, I think right now as well, Ugarte and Casemiro the last couple of games haven't been too bad, you know. I don't think they'll start today because I think it'll be Ugarte and Casemiro again on Thursday. I don't know what you think. I think against City, and I think on Thursday, I don't think it was too bad, you know.
I think Amorim will play that, but I don't think it's what you want going forward.
I mean, yeah, in the future, look, Casemiro, realistically, we're going to see him past this season. There's a good chance he's going to be gone in summer. I don't think he's been too bad quietly the last couple of games. Solid. I think he's been all right. So I just think, you know, Onana really did cost us, mate, because we didn't deserve to concede 2 goals on Thursday. We really didn't. Against City, we were pretty solid in the midfield. I thought we were slightly better than City when we played. I know there wasn't much between us, but I did think we were a slight better team than them. I thought we were better in midfield, certainly. So yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I can't remember who it was who said it. It might have been on Thursday. Might have come up in conversation at one point where one of the guys said we've got to get Mainu in the team. And as much as I love Mainu, it's not the end of the world to have good players on the bench. Like, maybe I feel like we kind of make things hard by saying, oh, but he's got to start and we've got to build it around him and he's got to start. Maybe if he started just one of the games a week, that's fine with me. Do you know what I mean? If you've got 4 good players who can play the 10, let's say you've got Mount, Mainu, Zirkzee, Ahmad, 4 Bruno. If you've got 5 really good players there, you can't be like, oh, well, all 5 of them have got to get in the team. We can't just say that about everybody. Do you know what I mean?
It's another good one about Zirkzee. He can play both positions.
Yeah, so I don't mind that. I don't mind us having this issue of like, oh, well, but we've got to get him in the team. Or we've got to have a good player on the bench. Look at City. Like, look what City have done for the past 5 years.
Look where we are in the table. We do need better still.
Yeah. Look at some of the players City have had on the bench in the last few years. Like, it's ridiculous some of the players they leave out sometimes. I mean, some games where they've got De Bruyne on the bench, they've got Bernardo Silva on the bench. They had David Silva on the bench for a long time. I mean, could you look at the players we're talking about? We've got to fit in the team. That's the quality now. That's how good your squad's got to be to compete with these guys in the Premier League. So I think it's a good issue to have. What was the initial thing we were talking about? Mainu and Bruno. I didn't even answer it. I think I'd probably have Bruno in centre mid and Mainu in the 10. I think I agree with you, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you say about having a good squad. they've all been injured. Like, we've had times we've been looking at our bench and wondering who are they? Like a lot of them are no senior players on our bench, so we don't really have a good squad because Mainoo's been injured, Mount's been injured. We still need more.
Oh, absolutely. I just meant about our Mainoo, because Mainoo and Mount have come back now. And I keep hearing, but mate, you can't leave Mainoo out. And as much as I love Kobbie Mainoo, he might be my favourite United player. If I had to pick with a gun to me, I'd probably pick Mainoo. But it's not the end of the world for him to be on the bench. Do you know what I mean? If we've got players, if we've got
Team's
multiple
out,
players for each position,
I
then
agree.
it's happy days.
Team is out, and we'll come to your super chats just after this. The starting 11 for Manchester United today is, it's an interesting one. Binday in goal, which you already knew. Mazraoui,
Yeah, he always plays.
Lindelof,
Yeah.
and Yoro as the back three. Your wing backs are Armas and Dalot. Two centre mids are Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes. Your two tens are Ericsson and Garnacho, and your centre forward is Joshua Zirkzee. I was right on Zirkzee starting.
Gone pretty strong, yeah.
He has gone pretty strong, and I did think part of me...
Completely forgot about Ericsson. We should have probably shown more respect for him.
Yeah, to be fair, I forgot about Ericsson, but I would have liked one of Mount or Mainoo to get some minutes just to build them back up again. But maybe you're saving them for Thursday, you don't know. But I do think that he has rotated a little bit. Obviously, you've got Lindelof, Ericsson in there, Amas. So it's a good balance. He's not gone all in either way, has he?
Well, the bench, Chido Obi hasn't even made the bench.
Really?
So I thought, we went for talking about him starting, he's not even on the bench. The bench is Heaton, Heaven, Maguire, Shaw, Casemiro, Dorgu, Mainoo, Mount and Hojlund.
Buzzing that Heaven's back.
Yeah.
Really
I'm buzzing that
happy
Heaven's
about
back.
that.
I think that's a big
I think he's
indicator.
really good.
Big indicator, Casemiro's going to start against Leon.
Yeah.
I think so.
Maguire's definitely going to start against Leon, which we already knew. And I think Mount and Mainoo, I think that shows how important they are, because we said that he could start today to get minutes in them, but I think Amorim's super scared about Mount breaking down again, so he's protecting him as much as possible. And obviously Mainoo's only just come back, he's probably thinking what's the most important game, Leon.
It's interesting Garnacho's playing. Does that mean he might get rested? Or not rested, benched against
Well,
Leon?
if you're going to play... If you're going to chuck Mount in there off the back of these decent cameos, and one of them tens have got to go, haven't they? And if you're going to drop one, probably going to be Garnacho.
It's interesting.
I think he's got to do a mix. You don't want to completely wave the white flag today against Newcastle. You want to go out there, show a bit of conviction and go out and aim to win the game. But at the same time, you really want to have your important players rested for that game against Leon. We know Bruno doesn't need the rest. He doesn't. Ideally, we would like to be in a position where he could rest him, but Amorim says some players play better when they're playing like every game, and Bruno's one of them. Dalot keeps himself very physically fit. We know he doesn't need it. Mazraoui, by the way, what a signing.
So underrated. I mean, he's been incredible. And a lot of people's man of the match against Leon. I mean,
he was up there for mine.
Those blocks that he did, as good as Yoro, in my opinion. Like, although obviously he didn't score, amazing. He's so versatile as well. But did you mention Shaw on the bench?
Shaw is on the bench, yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, he's been on the bench the last couple of games. He's seen no minutes.
Do you think he gets subbed on today?
Yeah, I think he's got to get some minutes today, surely.
Yeah.
Some minutes, let's see. I mean, what do you think about the team? Get your comments in straight away. Does Zirkzee starting today mean he's not going to start on Thursday? Are we reading too much into it? Does Garnacho starting today mean he's not going to start? Garnacho's another one of them players that I feel like just doesn't get injured. Starts every game, which is obviously a good attribute to have. Is frustrating. Maybe he'll play better with the level head of a Christian Eriksen next to him, who we know he's good at keeping the ball, and he's obviously got a wise head on his shoulders. Maybe I'm just clutching at straws with that one, we'll see. Armas has Yoro behind him, we would like to think, which Yoro's been super comfortable, so hopefully that'll help him. Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte in there, that centre mid pairing that I think everyone's his favourite centre mid pairing. I mean, we could talk about that. It's interesting. I thought Maguire was going to start today in that back line to just give Binday a bit of confidence, because he's probably our most experienced centre back, but he's gone with Victor Lindelof. Do we trust Victor Lindelof today?
No.
He's experienced, isn't he?
He can do a job, and I do think in a back three as well, I think we'll be all right. I am surprised Yoro's playing, to be honest. I thought he would get rested. I thought Maguire would be more likely than Yoro, but Maguire has had his own injury problems as well.
Maguire's more injury prone, I think.
Yeah. So, no, but I wouldn't say I trust Lindelof, but I think he can do a job, and when he's come in for us this season, he's been okay. So I think the back three helps.
Yoro, he started the game, but let's call it now, he's probably going to end up getting subbed off for Heaven or Shaw.
Yeah.
Both of them are left-footed centre-backs.
I'd like to see Heaven back in action.
Yeah.
I thought he was really exciting, and thankfully his injury wasn't as bad as it first
I think you
looked.
probably see both of them come on, because I don't think Amas will play the 90, so you probably see both.
Yeah.
Is Dargo on the bench?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
You'd like to think Mazraoui will get some rest, but who knows? He just seems to keep playing and playing and playing. Got some super chats. Sanil says, hope Amas shines today. He's so underrated. Yeah, we obviously wish the best to our young players coming through. Hope Amas does well. It's going to be a tough game for him. We'll get Newcastle's team up in a second. Swipe FC says, if you watched Hojlund last season, this season he's unrecognisable. It's like his talent and confidence has been stripped. It does feel that way. Matthew Gartell says, where's Ricky? Ricky is in Spain? I think he's in Spain this weekend. He's somewhere. He's not in the country. Matteo Damian FC says, Hayden speaks sense. Sign him up.
We'll see. Contract incoming.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Dad, thanks for super chat under a different name. But no, Lee Johnson says Lindelof is poor centre-back, no strength at all. Daniel says maybe Mainu for Ghana in the second half. I'd like to see Mainu come on for Garnacho quite early, because I actually think Mainu and Zirkzee have a really good relationship. They seem to play well together on the pitch. But again, intelligent football
This
players.
is what happens when you have people who, like I'm saying, who are technical and intelligent. Mount would work well. You know who doesn't work well? Garnacho and Hojlund. And it's not a coincidence. This is what I mean. Like, you need those players who are technical to win football matches.
Spurs have come back against Wolves, by the way. They're winning 2-1. Tel has just scored. That's an interesting one.
Tel, that's interesting. We nearly had him as well, didn't we? But I don't think Spurs fans haven't been too impressed with him, have they?
I think it's like, I've not seen too much of him, but I know he's not absolutely...
Yeah.
He's not gone there and killed it, but then I think it's a really tough environment to go into. You know, Spurs at the moment.
What's been funny is, I think all the Spurs fans were saying, come to us, you're going to get guaranteed game time, and he's not been playing there, really. And he would be playing right now for us, I'll tell you that.
I mean, we've got Newcastle starting 11 in. It's Pope, Trippier, Shah, Joe Linton, Tonali, Barnes, Isak, Livramento, Murphy, Byrne and Bruno Gomes.
It's a brilliant lineup.
It's a great team.
Is Gordon playing?
No, Gordon is on the bench.
Because this is his first game back.
Yeah.
No, he's not. It's injury, it was suspension, wasn't it? Or was it injury?
It was injury, I'm
Is
pretty
it injury?
sure.
Oh, he got suspended as well, didn't he? Because that's why he missed the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah, I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit of both.
He's going to come off the bench as well, probably have his first minutes. It's a really tough ask today. I mean, Isaac, in the best form of his life.
I'm just going to go through our starting 11 and Newcastle starting 11, and we can kind of go through which one we'd rather have.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good thing to do. I know this isn't maybe United at full strength, but it's still a strong-ish team.
You could do it with Thursday's lineup if you really wanted.
You could do it with Thursday's lineup, to be honest with you. So, Pope or Binder?
Pope.
And Pope or Onana? Pope.
Pope.
Okay. It's different because we play a back three and they play a back four. So I'll just kind of go with... I'll go with Yoro and... Okay, so Trippier or Dallo?
Trippier, for me. Experience, set piece. He actually has end product. Does Dallo have that? No.
There's not much between them for me, I'm going to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think there's much between them.
I'd love Trippier. He's just his leadership and his experience. That's what we lack.
No, I don't think there's too much between them. I think Dallo gives us quite a bit, to be fair.
Right, okay, we've got split there. Get in the comments down below. A lot of people backing Dallo here. But that might be just red-tinted glasses. It's tough for me. I think Trippier...
I'll tell you who I would
Trippier a couple of years ago, Trippier without a doubt. Now, probably Dallo just.
I would rather have Livramento there, I'll tell you that. He's good.
Well, he's going to be the left one.
Yeah.
So, you've got... we'll go with the centre-back. Shah and Byrne, or Lindelof and Yoro. Or Lindelof and Mazraoui, either way. Yoro and Mazraoui.
That's tough. I think both of Newcastle's centre-backs are very good, Shah and Byrne.
They complement each other really nicely.
But at the same time, I think Yoro has to get in there right now, the way he's playing. He was just man of the match against Leon.
Oh, that's a tough
I think one for me.
I don't think there's, again, I don't think there's too much.
I'd probably have Shah and Yoro.
Yeah, but Byrne's been... I would have Shah...
Mazraoui's been top. But it's a back three, isn't it? It's hard in a back three.
I would have Shah and Yoro because... But I do think Byrne's very good as well.
He is. A lot of mixed.
I'm struggling with this so far because I don't think there's too much.
By the way, everyone in the chat is putting like a different combo in. And I think that shows.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot between them.
I think Shah's underrated for Newcastle. I think
Shah's been great for years now, hasn't he?
I think this is a compliment to our defence, though, that you're struggling to pick, because if it was the forward players, I don't think barely any United forwards get into a top half side. But our defenders, I think, will compete with a lot of the defenders in the top end of the table.
Defence isn't the issue.
Quite good,
defence isn't the issue. That's one of the best things we've had under Amorim.
That's one of the main things Amorim's coming and done, isn't it? He's stirred us up.
Shame the keeper's not as good as him.
Okay, we'll leave it to the chat for that one. Next up, we have, it's tough to, we'll go with Dorgu over Armas, because Armas hasn't really played.
Yeah.
Dorgu or Livramento?
Livramento.
I think right now Livramento, but Dorgu obviously has that potential that he needs to realise. But so does Livramento. But I do like Dorgu as, like, if he improves his final products and stuff.
Well, yeah, what are your thoughts on Dorgu? Because obviously first time on the United stand, everyone, welcome. Hayden, if you're only just getting into the chat. First time on the United stand. Dorgu got a lot of criticism after the derby. A lot of United fans saying we need to be patient with him. United fans backing him, maybe a bit of outside noise, already saying, you know, United's first sign under Amorim needs to be better. I mean, what are your thoughts on Dorgu?
Personally, I actually really like Dorgu. I think he brings a lot of energy. I think he gets forward well, he gets back well. I think he does what a wing-back needs to do in the system. But yes, his end product isn't there yet, but he's a young player. I mean, Lewis Hall, who Newcastle have, I know he's not playing today because he's injured, he didn't play at all last season, really. Now look, he's been amazing this season, got called up to England. Like, give the lad time. He's got pace. He's got good energy. I think if he gets his end product right, I think he could be a very good player for us. And he's only 20. I really like him.
Yeah, Dorgu. This isn't an insult. I'd say it's not a bad thing, but I think he's just been okay. I've not been like.
You've not been wowed.
I've not been completely amazed. However, there's been small.
You're not going to be by a 20-year-old though.
Oh, that's why I said it's not an insult. It's all right to be just okay. You know, there's been little moments where I've gone, yeah, he's got something about him. You know, you see him dart up the pitch sometimes. I think the most impressive thing by him is just his grit and determination to win the ball back. You know, there's times where he's been up one end of the pitch and he's absolutely darted to get back in position and win the ball back. So his fitness is unbelievable. That's the main thing. Like, his fitness is just absolutely top. He does not stop running. He can play a 90.
He looks like the fittest player at United.
Oh, absolutely. He can play a 90 at 70 miles per hour, like the entire game long without a drop-off. So that's promising. Defensively, not too bad. I don't think we've had a game yet where he's been, like, skinned or anything like that. However, going forward, I think he's got to tidy it up a little bit. He's got the right ideas to get forward. However, he's just got to tidy up the final ball.
I do think, though, he should have had more assists than what he's got. He's put in a few good crosses, and again, nobody's got onto him. And plus, he's always hanging there for the Garnacho overlap, and he's never
gets it.
Yeah.
I think if you had another Dorgu where Dallo is, would be again a better team. I think he's better than Dallo. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
the amount he gets forward, Dallo doesn't get forward as much as I would like personally.
Yeah,
Dallo's quite stable, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's stable.
But I think in this system we play flipping 5 at the back. We need to play 3 at the back. We need those wing backs to be like wingers. That's what he's good at.
I feel like you could probably get away with playing not pacey players at 10. If you had the wing backs to really do it, you could get away with playing Mainu and Bruno as your 10s. Do you know what
Imagine
I mean?
if you had like a Dorgu and a Frimpong. That would improve us so much.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could play like Bruno Mainu
Exactly.
10. Yeah. However, look, I said I've cut ties with him, but I've not. As long as Luke Shaw's at the club.
Oh no! Please don't bring Luke Shaw
as long as he's at the club, I'm sorry. A fit Luke Shaw starts. I'm sorry.
Of course he does, but
a fit Luke Shaw.
A fit Eric Cantona starts, but he's about 40. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. He's quality. If Luke Shaw's fit, and I know it's a big if. I know. But as long as he's contracted to Manchester United, if he's fit and can play 90 minutes. I want Luke Shaw as my left wing back or my left centre back. I do. I think.
Yeah, but he isn't. It's like, what do you mean he isn't fit?
Yeah, he's on the bench.
As soon as he gets minutes, he's going to get injured.
He might do, but he might not. Like, he might not.
I don't want to waste my time on him.
I know I'm grasping. I know I'm clutching at straws. And I told myself I've cut ties with him. I'm done with him, but I can't let go of him. As long as he's at the club, I want him on the team. I really do. He is that good. I'm sorry, but he spent the entire season out, and came into that Euros semi-final. There was one of England. If he was top 3 of England's best players,
no,
like he's still got. I know, but if he could just somehow miraculously just pull it together, I want him to play because he is quality.
It's like
He's amazing.
saying if somehow miraculously tomorrow I go and buy a scratch card and it wins me £1 million.
Oh, I know, but it's possible, Beth. It could happen. It could happen.
Oh, I don't. I've given up on Shaw a long time ago. A long time ago.
I'm not ready to let
I
it go.
do hope he does get subbed on though, just to see what he's
If
cooking.
he's fit, does he start the Europa League final?
Yes.
Such a slap in the face to all the other players, though. He sends the wrong message, in my opinion.
As much as I don't like him, he does start the Euro.
He's better than him. He is, like, I'm sorry, he's a better player than what we've got. I know he's never fit. I know I'm probably getting pelters in the chat for even bringing his name up. But if he's fit, he's got to play. He's our best. Right, out of that entire back five, he's the best one. I'm telling you, in terms of quality, he is the best one. He's just never fit. If we can get him fit somehow, then I want to play him. As long as we've got him, he might go in summer because of the injury thing. But for this season, if we can get him fit, I want to play him.
It feels like we've been saying that as that sentence for the last 6 years, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had that one period under Ollie where he was.
I don't even think he plays as a wing back though. I think he plays as a centre back.
He can play either for me. He's good enough. He played wing back for England, and he was so good in the final for England at wing back.
Yeah, he was.
He was amazing. Beth, he was so good. He was amazing.
We're not saying he's not good though. We know he's good.
So he's got to play. You've got to play. You've got to play. No, I'm saying if we can get him fit, me Minecraft crocs are falling to bits. If we can get Luke Shaw fit, yeah. Let's say over the next.
You're not going to.
If over the next 2-3 weeks, if he can play 30 and he survives, then let's say he plays 60 and he survives, and say he plays a 90 and he survives. If we get to that like Europa League semi-final, somewhere along them lines, if we get to a big game, I think you're going to get much more from Luke Shaw than Dorgu. I think you're going to get miles more from him.
Oh no, you can't.
Different players.
Obviously, you know.
No, they're not.
Luke Shaw is way more experienced.
Luke Shaw's not as quick as Dorgu. I'm not saying he's better. Obviously, Luke Shaw's miles better than Dorgu, but
so I want to play
Well,
him.
Dorgu's the future.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw is nowhere near the future.
Not when there's a trophy on the line. I don't care about the future. There's a trophy on the line. I don't care. I'm playing my best players, man.
Yeah, well, let's have that conversation.
If I'm building a lineup for the Europa League final, I ain't picking a player based on it's the future. I'm picking my best players.
And that's the conversations to have in a month's time, isn't it?
Yeah, if he gets fit.
If he gets fit, if he can stay fit.
Might not even get minutes. Amarim might be done with him and just not even.
Do you not think it's unfair though? If Dorgu's played to get you to that final and then Luke Shaw just waltzes back in like, I'm fit now for the final, I'm starting.
Did it for England.
I know, but...
Because he's that good. He is that good.
I know, but don't you think it sets the wrong example to the players that have grafted their arse off through the season to get us in that position, and then Luke Shaw suddenly after making TikToks, you know, in Manchester restaurants, you know, talking about someone's mum being on benefits. Someone suddenly rocks up for the Europa League final. Like, I'm ready to play everyone.
I do get it.
Like, it's just.
I do get what you're saying. However, I think it becomes an exception when Luke Shaw was one of the best fullbacks in the world when he was playing. We've not got many positions, we've not got many players in that team apart from Bruno, who you can comfortably say he is one of the best in the world at what he does. Shaw is the only other one apart from Bruno who, when he was fit playing, when he played full season, you said, wow, he was one of the best fullbacks in the world that year. And I think you make an exception for someone that good.
Talking like he's Ronaldo.
No, exactly.
He is good.
Is the Ronaldo a fullback? You're going to say?
I'll go back to the same point. David Beckham
player.
was one of the best wingers in the world. I'm not going to throw him in now. Like, he's not fit. Like, Shaw isn't fit.
Beckham's 50. Don't
Exactly. Shaw may as well be. He's not fit.
But if he gets fit, I'm playing him.
Right. We'll put a pin in that conversation. Let's run a poll. If Luke Shaw is fit for the Europa League final, actually, let's
that's not the point I'm making. If he was fit, I'd play him.
Okay, we won't even say if he's fit. We'll run a poll now. Would you start Luke Shaw in the Europa League final if we got there? I mean, we've got to beat Leon first, and then we've got to beat a semi-final as well.
We got lost on that starting 11 thing, by the way. We got stuck on the dog. We ain't even done the midfield.
The point I'm making is he won't be fit for that. I'm so confident.
Oh yeah, we're doing a combined 11.
Yeah, we got caught up on it.
Right, okay, we got caught up on it. Yeah, but that's the whole thing that it's about, these little topics. So we did the goalkeeper, we did the back 3/4. We'll now go on to the midfielders. So they have a midfield of Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton, and we have Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte in there.
Bruno gets in it, but other than that, I think Ugarte is so underrated in this team, the amount of goals he wins, but I mean, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Joe Linton, some really top mid. I mean, Newcastle have one of the best midfielders in the league, I think. This is some top midfielders.
Are we picking a midfield too?
We'll just pick them. We're not even going to go off. Let's just go off altogether, United and Newcastle.
Okay.
Combined 11, 3 in midfield. Who would you go with? I think Bruno's the only United player.
Bruno Fernandes,
Bruno
Guimaraes, and Joe Linton, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you need a defensive midfielder.
You'd go Joe Linton over Tonali?
Joe Linton's amazing.
I think I would, yeah. I think I slightly prefer him.
I don't know. It's not very defensive, but they are,
Yeah, I think I'd take Joe Linton over Tonali. I don't think it's not like a big.
I think it's very close between them.
Yeah, I think I would take Joe Linton though.
In a midfield of Bruno Fernandes and Bruno Guimaraes, I would have Tonali because I think he's more disciplined. Well,
yeah, that makes
sense. I think he's more disciplined than Joe Linton. Joe Linton does like to get forward a lot.
Yeah, okay, I can go with that. And then your front 3. I mean, does a single United player get
maybe over Murphy?
We can get someone in over Murphy.
He has been playing well though.
Murphy's been doing good.
No, we can get someone in
Isaac,
over
Barnes, Murphy, Gordon. To get, I think if Ahmad's fit, he goes on.
If Ahmad's fit, it'd be Ahmad, Isaac,
Gordon.
Gordon.
It is Gordon. I mean,
It is.
Yeah.
Like, who else do we have? Garnacho, no.
I wasn't debating Gordon over a United player. I was just thinking, could you make an argument for Barnes?
The debate's more about Gordon or Barnes.
That's what I was caught up on. I wasn't thinking about Garnacho, trust me.
Yeah.
No chance.
Right now, excluding Ahmad, would you have Murphy in United's team?
Probably, yeah. I don't know.
I think Murphy could do a job at that right wing back. You know?
He could do a job at right wing back, yeah. He gets back well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting, isn't it? It's different formations, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm not Murphy's biggest fan.
No, I agree. The thing is, this is the thing with Newcastle. They just work well as a team. Murphy isn't like one of those players like, he's a baller.
But he's a cog.
He's a cog. They work well as a team, and you know what he will do? What Ricky loves, he'll put crosses in the box. Do you know what I mean?
And he'll track back.
And that's all you can ask for.
You are right. It's a team game. That's what Ricky says. It's a team game, everyone. Sanil has put a super chat in. I'm really interested to see what this poll's going to be on Luke Shaw, to go back to that. Sanil says, is Dorgy better than Wan-Bissaka?
I've not seen enough yet, I don't know.
In this system, yeah.
But
Wan-Bissaka for West Ham, you've got to give him credit. He's been very good.
Yeah, to be fair, I can't imagine Wan-Bissaka performing well in this system.
No.
I See Dead Body says, come on mate, Shaw is old news, you cannot rely on the guy. Also, he hasn't played for ages, far from his best. I'd go nowhere near him.
But he didn't play for a full season, and he was absolutely awesome for England. He was brilliant.
Simply Red says, can it be said that Shaw was that good because he had Rashford in front of him?
No.
I think he probably made Rashford better. Henry says,
I agree.
Realistically, how many ins and outs this summer? Well, we'll circle back to that question because I've got some news on the striker coming in as well. Aidan Voice says, glad to see Amma starting and to see Heaven back. What is everyone's score prediction? Sorry if you've already said them. I've only just joined. Class of 99 says, wish to see possible replacement from the youth team for Dallo. Glad Ruben's seen the light with Zirkzee. Nailed down the striker position, even more to come. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talks about some of the youth players being in line to maybe come into that right wing back spot, which is why we're maybe not necessarily prioritising it for summer. I think, again, going to take a lot of patience, and we'll probably see more about that on pre-season. Valencia The Beat says Dorgy will not develop whilst playing with Alejandro Garnacho. I don't think them two have been a great partnership so far.
I agree, but I don't think Garnacho works well with many of our players just because of who he is.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
doesn't make the right decisions, does he, on the ball? Needs to. Something like, can you teach that really with this? He's young still, but it's just in his DNA.
I don't want to just. I feel like we're hating on Garnacho a bit. Like, I don't want to just go in on him, but he just needs to get better at that. Like, so many times he'll just shoot, and you just think, yeah.
Will he? Because it's in his DNA to do that.
I know, but I thought he played better on the right against Leo.
You know what? Joey's first season, he wasn't doing all of this.
No.
Like, honest to God, he was not doing all of this stuff.
He's like he's a bit full of himself, maybe. I don't know what it is.
I hate to agree with you, but I do think there's a little element of. I think it's got to his head a little bit too much. I think he's been, again with Hojlund, I think he's been put in a role way too high for where he should be right now. I think when he was...
Sancho's just scored a screamer, apparently.
Has he really?
Hopefully they don't send it back then.
I think in that first season when he was a bit part player where he's got to prove himself, I think he was miles better in those cameos. I thought he just played the game better. I thought he kept the ball better. I thought he moved the ball better. Whereas these days, I think his whole thing is just get the ball and try and score, and that is setting us back.
No, I agree.
What do you think to Aidan Voice's super chat then? What is everyone's score predictions?
I thought about it this morning. I'm going to go with 1-1.
My brain says we get beat, but my heart says we scrape a point. So I'm going to go. I do think defensive. Oh God,
we draw a lot of games.
It could be anything. This.
That's my thinking.
I'm going to go with a. Oh God.
Lindelof versus Isak.
I'm going to say 2-1 to Newcastle, but I hope we get a draw. I hope we do.
I'm going to go 1-1. We are good defensively. I know Lindelof's in there, however, you've still got Yoa and Mazraoui in there, and it's still a back five at times, and we probably are going to be sat in a bit more today. So I'm not expecting us to play 3-4 goals today, to be honest. I know they battled us at home and we played a back five. However, I think over the last few weeks, they've shown me that they are improving defensively. The midfield will be interesting today. Bruno and Ugarte have got a hell of a lot of work to do. Is Casemiro on the bench?
Yes.
maybe
see Casemiro coming on if that doesn't go to plan.
Yeah, you like that? Isn't that what happened in the Old Trafford game? Because Zirkzee got brought off, didn't he? We brought was it Mainoo on or a midfielder on?
Might have been
when we were getting battered in the.
We brought Mainoo on.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
I think the midfield's the big one, isn't it? I'm not worried about us defensively. However, their midfield
I'm worried a little bit.
Could outrun us.
I'm worried.
I know Bruno and Ugarte can run, but however they can run as well.
In this game, yeah, I am worried.
Eriksen's a rogue one, isn't it? I think it's just giving a bit of game time.
It's just minutes, yeah. I mean, you can't have a guy on however much he's on, nearly probably about 200 grand a week, not even come in for this game. Like I think he was always going to play this game.
The thing is with Eriksen, for me, it's like I get it. He deserves to play this game in a way. Senior player, probably decent wage packet. I get that. But for a fan, it's not that exciting because we know he's gone in the summer. He's not going to play against Lyon, I doubt, unless he has an absolute masterclass today. And we know what he can offer and we know what his strengths and weaknesses are.
Was it Leicester he last played? I thought he was all right in that game.
Yeah.
But that is Leicester, so it's going to be interesting.
I would have liked to see I'd like to see Mainoo or Mount in there, but hopefully they'll come on. We'll have to see. The GOAT says the first 30 minutes will be make or break. I was going with a 1-1. I'm just like, where's our goal coming from? Zirkzee's on the pitch, to be fair. He's a bit of
We've got a strong bench.
Bruno Fernandes,
we could get one late.
Bruno Fernandes moment.
I'd go with a 1-1 as well. Or maybe go for 2-2, but then can I see us scoring 2 goals? I definitely think Newcastle will score.
Yeah.
I'd be more confident with Maguire in the back line, which is mad to say. Because I'll go with a 1-1 as well. I'll stick with what I've gone with on the score.
So I'm the only one. Wait, no, I predicted a loss, didn't I?
Yeah, you predicted 2-1 loss. We'll see. Tim says Amarim must think that Dorgu needs a break. Well, let's talk a little bit about the ins and outs because we did have a super chat on here. From, let me try and find it. I can't find it now.
There's something about ins and outs, wasn't it?
Henry says, realistically, how many ins and outs this summer? Well, there's been a little bit of talk about Hojlund going over to Serie A. Juventus interested in a potential loan. And David Ornstein has said United are looking at Liam Delap and Benjamin Sesko as your striker options. Hayden, when you hear from David Ornstein that United striker options are Delap and Sesko, what are your initial thoughts on that?
We're going down the same road we went down with Hojlund. I think, are there improvements on Hojlund? Yes, but I think we need someone experienced. I mean, me personally, my patience is one thing. I want an experienced striker, someone like a Gyökeres or an Osimhen. I don't want another like a Delap who, yes, he's probably better, but again, he's going to take time. He's going to need to he's not going to be perfect.
He shouldn't be the number one.
Exactly. Yeah. I want someone experienced, 100%. But I know it's going to cost money, but that's what we need.
Yeah, I'm a massive advocate for Delap. I've been saying for months we've got to sign him. However, we shouldn't sign him to be the number one. We should sign him to be the number 2. We need another guy. I've been saying for a while we need to sign 2 strikers this summer. I think with Hojlund, look, I wouldn't be sad if he goes in summer. If we can move Hojlund on, I'd keep Zirkzee at the club, absolutely. I think Zirkzee's versatile. Like Beth said before, you can play Zirkzee in the 10 as well. There'll always be room for Zirkzee to get minutes somewhere. However, Delap for 30 million quid is a steal.
Yeah.
I think that is such a steal. We've really got to get that deal done. I'm not seeing him linked to too many other clubs.
Chelsea, isn't it?
I really hope we can convince him to come to us. It'll be massive if we can win the Europa League. Oh my God, if we can get Champions League foot, it will do us massively. We're trying to find a good striker. I mean, for me right now, the Gyökeres deal isn't on.
No.
If we get Champions League, I think maybe we could do it. However, I've not watched a load of him. I've watched a little bit of him, but yeah, a lot of people say he could be that guy, but I'm not sure. I don't want to sit here and say, yeah, go get Gyökeres. He's the number one guy, because I've not seen too much of him. However, Delap to come in as the number 2, absolutely get it done.
I do like Delap, but no, he would not be my main striker.
I agree.
It's like what Hojlund should have been.
Jump.
Hojlund should have been the second striker. That's what I would want Delap to be.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to repeat.
We don't have the money to go for 2.
Exactly. I don't want to repeat myself again. Like repeat ourselves with the Hojlund situation with Delap. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? I do believe that Delap is a much better striker than Hojlund currently, and I do think he would make an improvement. But like you said, your patience is one thing. I think that shows a lot of United fans. I think Delap would get nowhere near the patience that Hojlund got when he first came in, because people have used it all up with Hojlund, and they need someone now. And I think bringing in Delap and expecting him to be the answer is basically just like putting him in the lion's den, feeding him to the lions, and it's unfair on him, and it's not what United need. It's not.
No. I wouldn't go near Sesko as the other one. I think he's like Delap in that he's inexperienced to it. I know he's playing in the Champions League and stuff, but I can't lie, I watched him in the Euros, I weren't too impressed. But he's going to cost double what Delap's cost. He's going to cost 60. So I wouldn't, if we are going to go for experience, for someone who's going to, on the higher price scale, I would not go for Sesko.
There's surely got to be Premier League strikers though who we could get for...
Thoughts on Mateta?
See, that's exactly where I was going to.
Yeah.
Mateta, I mean, people might go, I hate seeing this thing at the moment of like, the standards, Manchester United were signing a relegation striker. A relegation strike could actually improve us right now, because we're 13th in the league. I mean, we've only got to make a little jump to get in the top half of the table. It's not like we're going to go straight away. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near a league title next season. I think we'd be lucky if we're near the top 4 next season, to be honest. If we finish 6th next season, as much as it's quite, you've got to let your ego sit down for a minute. 6th is a massive improvement. If we can finish 6th next year, you've got to look back and sit back and go, yeah, that's a big improvement. And I don't think you've got to go and sign a £100 million European striker to get there. I think there's Premier League talent like Mateta, like Delap, who can close that gap for now. One
mistake I think we have made in the past is we've paid too much for people who aren't proven. Like Anthony, 90 million, Hojlund, 70. But people like Elise went for 50 to Bayern, and I don't know. We need to do that more often. Like
Premier League
proven players.
I think Ollie, when he came in, and we signed a lot of British players from the Premier League and the Championship, it definitely did, and it's definitely left a sour taste in people's mouths to where now people don't want Premier League players. However, I would much rather know what we're getting right now. If there's a player there who's got 15 goals in the Prem this season, bring him in. Bring him in. I want someone who I know can do it.
It's like Cunha's obviously our top priority, and we'll talk about him if for a second. We are running out of time, but we will talk about him because this Wolves-Tottenham game is crazy right now. But even an Eze I'd take right now.
Yeah, I'd take him.
I know people talk about injuries, but I even watched him for Crystal Palace yesterday against City, and I've watched him a lot this season. Watched him against United, he's way better than what we have. And there's options there in the Premier League that we can go for. I mean, just an update on the scores. Sancho helping us get our 25 mil. He did equalise for Chelsea, so it was 2-2 in that game. Ipswich versus Chelsea. A couple of people in the chat saying Delap currently bullying Chelsea defenders as we speak. Obviously, we've not got the game on, so we can't see it. Liverpool. It was 1-1 between them and West Ham. Robertson scored an own goal in the 86th minute, but Van Dijk then makes it 2-1 in the 89th. They are going to be Premier League champions, and that's what Premier League champions do, unfortunately. The Tottenham and Wolves game, so Wolves at home against Tottenham Hotspur, and obviously under a lot of pressure. So Aït-Nouri scored in the 2nd minute. Then they go 2-0 up in the 38th minute to Spence. They then bring it back, Spurs, to 2-1, and then Wolves just completely go ahead. It's now 4-2 to Wolves in that game.
And they had a goal ruled out, didn't they, as well?
Cunha scored in the 86th minute.
Wow. And Cunha didn't even start, I don't think, so he's come on and scored after his suspension. So, I mean, just on Cunha, because we were talking about him, I would love Cunha. I know people are concerned about his attitude and this and that, but I like his passion in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, he does give all for the shirt. Yes, he's not been the most respectful to Wolves, and which is an issue, and we know we've seen it with Sancho at United. Like, that can cause issues. But
night and day between Cunha and Sancho.
Exactly, and I like his passion and his quality. I mean, in that 10 position, he's perfect. He's technical, he's quick, he's got quality, and he's a ball carrier, which we don't have much of at all. The amount of times he's done it against us, he picks up the ball and he just dribbles past 2 or 3 people, and I'd love just to see that at a game, someone taking people on, like, and he's like, but with the end product as well.
Do you know what? He'd be a brilliant Garnacho replacement.
Exactly that.
He'd be a brilliant like swap Garnacho out for him, and we'd be so much better. Garnacho's an interesting one. I wonder whether he'll be here next season, because if he is here, I think he's going to be seeing a lot more time on the bench. If we get the ideal world where we don't get hampered with too many injuries, I think Garnacho will be on the bench.
Just on the outs thing as well, on Garnacho, would you move Garnacho on for the right price?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wanted him gone in January. I mean, the only reason we couldn't do it is because of the complete lack of depth. I'm worried now that we ain't going to get that 60 million offer ever again. I'm worried that was a one-time thing. Yeah. But even if we were to get 40 million quid for him,
he'll go for around 50-ish.
I'd move him on. I just don't think where his headspace is right now yet, he's not going to sit on the bench to develop. However, as a fan, I'm telling you right now, that's what he needs. That's what he needs to do, but I don't think he thinks that. I think he thinks he's ready. I think he thinks he's the guy right now. He's going to go to a top European club and start. I think he could be in for a bit of a shock, to be honest.
We could actually have quite a lot of money coming in this summer from transfers. If, Rashford goes for 40, I think he's got a buy option. He's doing well at Villa. Garnacho for 50. Sancho for 20, maybe, if that happens. 25. We could, and a lot of players are leaving on frees, like Lindelof, Eriksen, wages freed up. We could actually.
Betis want to start a GoFundMe to buy me.
Come on, please, Betis. But we could actually have quite a lot of money coming in. But Europa League as well is crucial, because I think if we win that, it actually puts us like years ahead of where we would be.
I agree. Yeah, I was going to say it probably puts us a couple years ahead in terms of where we will end up being
and
with
the players you can get
project.
If you've got Champions League football, the players you can get, like all of a sudden maybe you can get a Cunha and he won't go to Chelsea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. However, though, I will say, if we don't win the Europa League and we've got no Europe next year, it might not be the worst thing in the world to have our expectations lowered slightly to where players don't want to come to us, like these top European...
Cunha still wants to come, though, if we don't.
Yeah, so Cunha's a good one.
He wants to come from the 16th to 14th.
But what I mean is these top European players who everyone's after, for example, Osimhen, people keep saying right now, look, I don't think Osimhen's ever going to happen. If he wants 300 grand a week, mate, he can sod off. But I think it might be all right for us to have to shop around a bit more smartly and get players who are in and around us on the league table. I think in the long run we could actually probably benefit from that a little bit. So if we don't get me wrong, I want to win the Europa League and I'd like to have European footy next year. However, if it doesn't happen, the silver lining of it for me will be, well, maybe it'll be better just that players don't want to come to us for granted. I think it could benefit us having to go and shop at Wolves, go and shop at Palace, teams like that. I think we could do some good from it. You
still can shop smartly though with Champions League football. Just don't sign players who are mercenaries.
I think I mean it from a fan expectation point of view.
Yeah.
Whereas if we don't get Champions League footy, then it's not like a given where fans expect us to go and sign Osimhen or someone like that. I think when we're getting Champions League footy, people are like, well, we've got to go and sign these top players now. If we don't get it, it's a bit more justifiable for fans.
I think people are waking up to that now. I think if we sign Mateta, I think people would be excited with that. I would be.
Some people are, however, I do still see a lot of people saying this thing of, the expectations are a disgrace. Manchester United looking at relegation striker. It's nothing. We aren't that much better than those teams at the bottom, mate. Like, we aren't. No. There's not that much between us.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think some fans still haven't woken up to that yet.
I think this season has been a real wake-up call for a lot of people. I think a lot of people would, like, I don't know, would people rather have Mateta or Osimhen? That's a good poll to run.
Well, obviously they'd rather have Osimhen. You would rather have Osimhen.
Yeah, I would rather have Osimhen, but I don't think it's as much. I think, like what Tul's saying, I don't think there's as much in it as people are saying.
Well, not for 300 grand a week. Like, I'm seeing some people saying just pay the 300 grand a week, it's guaranteed goals. Absolutely not. Don't pay 300 grand a week for him, mate. Do not do that. It's just going to set us back even further. We need to get away from that.
Yeah. What was the Shaw poll?
The Shaw poll is 69% say no.
Yeah, people have cut ties, haven't they? To be honest, I said I'd cut ties a few weeks ago, but seeing his name on the bench got me a bit excited.
You literally did as well.
I know, but I seen his name on the bench and I started getting excited again.
A. St. John says, I think signing like Dusan Vlahovic would start up top and Delap as a backup would go crazy.
That's a good one. It's where can you get him though out of Juventus? But that's a good one.
Been linked to him for a couple of years, haven't we?
We have been. We're only gonna sign one striker. Let's be honest, we need a goalkeeper. I think Cunha's going to be our big one. If we can get him. It's like you're talking about the money that could be coming in.
Yeah.
It sounds great when you speak about it like that, and that could all happen. But it's like if. It's that big if again. Are Villa going to sign Rashford for 40 million when he's on 300 grand a week?
No, I said this.
If they don't get Champions League football as well.
I think if they get Champions League football, I think they will. He's playing well for them.
But he's going to have to take a massive wage cut. He's going to have to take a massive wage cut for that.
Yeah.
Emery is starting him.
He's starting over
Watkins a couple of times now.
He's playing all the Champions League games. And if you watch him, his numbers have been okay. They've not been amazing. He's not scored tons of goals. He's had quite a few assists. But if you just watch Villa, I've watched quite a few Villa games, and the movements he's making from that left channel inside, and then he's been playing up front recently as well. He's been doing very well. Like, back to what Rashford was. Obviously not back to his prime, but starting to look like the Rashford we know. Do you know? And I think they might take that risk on him.
I don't think Villa ain't taking 300 grand a week risk. No chance. They might if he'll take 180.
What United might do is they might say, take a chunk off the transfer fee and that'll just cover the wages.
I think United will get rid of him.
So say if they're willing to pay 40 mil, how much is left in his contract? How do we bring that down to like 180 grand a week? We'll just pay the rest off that, off the transfer fee you give us.
Amorim's not going to have him back. We've seen what happened already. Like, he's going. And unless someone like a PSG come back in, I don't think they will with their team now. I could see Villa as a real option.
Again, it's Free Irishman just said in the chat, Delap, Cunha, Mateta, all useless. Would Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea all want them? No. First of all, literally all them teams do want Cunha and Delap, and you've included Mateta in there. Right. Where have Liverpool signed Van Dijk from? Where did they sign Mane from? Where did they sign Jota from?
Brilliant.
Signed Jota from Wolves. They signed Van Dijk and Mane from Southampton, and Van Gaal wanted to go for Mane, and all United fans turned their nose up at it because he was from Southampton. Look at what Arteta's done at Arsenal. Declan Rice, everyone was saying British bias. No way we should pay that. He's miles better than anything we went for. I mean, Casemiro was obviously good in his first year, but Declan Rice, 100 mil is probably a bit over the top, but Premier League proven, done well. Other players they've bought from
Andrew Robertson was the best left back in the world for a good period of time. £2 million from Hull City.
Speaking of that, look at some of the recruitment from the Championship. Eze came from there. Wharton, now he's playing for England. He came from there.
Jude Bellingham.
Morgan Rogers, look at what he's doing right now. Came from Middlesbrough. Who else? Bowen. Did he come from Hull or somewhere? I think Bowen came from somewhere like that. João Pedro, he's doing well.
Shaw was from Southampton.
Yeah, this is a very Man United thing, by the way. Man City, didn't fucking moan when they signed Ake from Bournemouth.
No, they didn't.
They did not
and
moan.
All he wanted Ake, remember? And we got linked to Ake, and all the United fans why we're going to
It's such a Man United thing. This is what I mean by our fans need to be humbled. You really need to be humbled, mate. It seems like do you know where else actually Real Madrid are a bit like this? Real Madrid fans have this same little arrogance. We need to drop this arrogance, seriously. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop this arrogance now.
But also, Aidan Heaven was £1 million from Arsenal's academy. Look how good he looks. Just because a player isn't playing for a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich or somewhere in the top European leagues doesn't mean that they're not good enough to come in.
And a lot of those players that are the top, like an Osimhen, like you said, things start going wrong and then they look at the door. Do you know what I mean?
Maguire is Hull.
A lot of them are mercenaries, but other players that you bring from the Championship, they're grateful to be there and they give their best. Do you know what I mean?
Mahrez was from Leicester, weren't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did win the league, that Leicester team, so it's a bit different.
But there's players out there right now where another one we turned our nose up at, Milenkovic. We turned our nose up at him a few years ago. Look at him now, he's mint.
Sander Birch?
Sander Berg, oh my God, give me Sander Berg this summer. I've been speaking about Sander Berg for ages. I wanted him before Sheffield got him, mate. Every time I watch Sander Berg, he dominates every single game. We could have got him for like £5 million.
I don't think Sander Berg gets in that team.
Oh, mate, he absolutely
over
does.
Ugarte and Bruno.
Brilliant. He's better than Ugarte.
You think he's better?
Mate, he's brilliant. Honest to God. He's so good.
He is good.
He's good.
Honestly.
He's good. I mean,
no, honest to God, mate, he is brilliant.
I would definitely have him in the squad, I'd say that. And I think we should have gone for him, but
I think he's absolutely
I've never
brilliant.
seen someone as passionate over Sander Berg.
Mate, he just runs every single... He ran that game against Liverpool last week when Fulham beat Liverpool. He was man of the match against us. I know Bruno got man of the match against Fulham, but realistically, Sander Berg was man of the match that game. Dominated us all game long.
Look at what Rafinha's doing for Barca.
That's
Leeds.
nuts, isn't it? That one's nuts.
Rafinha was from Leeds.
I wanted
everyone
Rafinha.
Everyone was. Do you remember at the time, me and you were saying we
Yeah.
wanted to get Rafinha, and everyone was like, "We need to go for Sancho." Rafinha is 5 times the player Sancho is. More.
Yeah. No, I really wanted Rafinha at the time. I know you did. We both did, but the thing is, he was from Leeds, so there was a bit of.
But people would have turned their nose up at that.
Oh yeah,
It's
exactly.
true. I mean, someone on there said Elise was from Reading at the time. Yeah, people.
There you go.
We do have to. You are right, Tul, that we need to.
We
open
need
our
to be
eyes more.
humbled. We need to be humbled completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
We're the only fans that did. Well, we're not. But as a United fan, you see it all the time. Like fans saying, why are we going for this? Why are we going? Like just turning our nose up at everything and being so arrogant and snobby. No other team in the league does it. Liverpool didn't moan when they signed Mane. They didn't moan when they signed Van Dijk or Robertson. City didn't moan when they signed Ake. I mean, there's probably more players in City's team where you could look at and they came from the Prem.
You know who'd be perfect? We talked about Cunha. You know who'd be perfect right now in that 10 position? Morgan Rogers.
Yeah,
look what he's doing, and playing every minute as well. He plays Premier League, and people thought he was going to get rotated against Southampton. Nope, played. He played in the Champions League. He plays every minute, and he is brilliant. And talk about ball carriers, the way he does that, and Championship, Middlesbrough. Like, we need to look at that.
I would absolutely love Morgan Rogers. Wow. I mean,
could we? I don't think we could sign him, but
well, I was about to ask the question.
I would love to sign him.
Before we wrap up, I don't think Villa ever let him go.
Oh no.
But I would love to. Would he want to move from there to United like this? I'd ask the question: would you swap Rashford for Ollie Watkins if it was on the table?
Yeah, I would. Honest to God, I would. I don't think that's not on the table though, really.
Well, if it was,
if it was,
I would rather get the money for. I think this might be a bit controversial, but I think Watkins is a bit overrated. I don't think his finishing's elite, and I think in the United team where you get minimal chances anyway, I don't know how well he do. I mean, Rashford's displaced Watkins at Villa.
And we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. Last super chats. Femi Smith says, your comment about Osimhen was disingenuous. Napoli mistreated him and kicked him out of the club, but somehow he's a mercenary and he's supposed to spend his entire career at Napoli.
No, mate. It was about the fact that he wants 300 grand a week at United. No chance. Not happening, mate. Sod off.
For what it's worth, I think Osimhen would be a great signing.
Yeah, you'd be a great signing, mate. Take 150 grand a week. Come and play at the new stadium.
I'd give him 200.
Yeah, you ain't getting 300 grand, mate. Do one.
Where's that from? Has Romano said 300 grand?
Someone said, I think Mark tweeted it. Mark tweeted it out, actually.
Oh, yeah, go with that then. Yetman Lee says, just joining, did you guys hear that the reason Onana was dropped because his wife got robbed, not performance?
I read it on Sky
Brackets
before.
according to Reddit.
No, Sky have said that.
Yeah, that did happen though, and that had happened previously. It's not the sole reason he's got dropped. I think it's multiple things. The Majic thing, this thing. A lot's been happening. It's been quite a big week for Andre Onana. I think he just wants to take him out the firing line. It's been a tough week for him. Thank you everyone for your super chats. Anto Mac, Paul didn't overpay for these. There's 75 mil for Maguire. Yeah, that's what's kind of put us off. The fact we overpaid for Wan-Bissaka and Maguire kind of scarred us, but it doesn't mean we can't try that route again. Just pay the right amount of money with the new transfer strategy. But look, everyone, that is the build-up show. Got into loads of stuff there. Everyone hit a like on the video for Hayden's first show. Hayden, well done.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you.
And Tul as well. Great to have you. Always bring different opinions, and you know what? You can stay in that Luke Shaw fan club, and we'll see if he gets any minutes today. What should we go and infiltrate Goalbridge's chat with? I go with let's go Armas. Let's back Armas.
I like that.
Back,
We'll go with that.
Back Armas. We'll go with let's go Armas into Goalbridge's watch-along chat for the Newcastle game. Let's hope Manchester United can get a good result, play some good football, have all of our players intact, and most importantly, we're backing the young players today. Let's see if Heaven can get on the pitch as well. Go and infiltrate Goalbridge's watch-along, and we will see you later on the Fans Forum.